Welcome to this week's version of WNHL95. I'm your host, Ultra Magnus, and I know there hasn't been a video in a while, and everyone's getting a little titillated, especially Wolf. But it finally here. I was finally be able to get some time to be able to do it this morning, and I'm going to basically do a little bit of everything, a little bit of recap, a little bit of updating, a little bit of everything. I'm just going to add some background music in here because I always feel like having a little bit of music is always a really good thing to have. Yeah, there we go. That's going to help. So it'll kind of fill in that void whenever I'm not talking. So everything here on this the homepage is going to be updated. There's some logos missing because there's some teams finalizing what their final logo will look like. Once those are finalized, I'll have them updated and added to the list here, and they'll all be accessible. So you can click on, say, Anaheim. It will bring you to the team page where your team is located, right there. But then there's going to be a home button for each team so that you don't have to scroll all the way back up to the top. And this will bring you back to the home page. So don't worry about it. It's going to all be automated. Some of these little side bracket ones are going to be updated. And I've color-coded everything along the bottom. So we still have our history, our about the league. We're going to have some code of conduct added into the website. This is just going to basically have a little bit more detail. You'll see on the website. It just helps everybody to kind of see now we're getting a little bit more publicity with that article, which I never thought it was going to be on Input. I thought it was just some random Joe on NHL 94 that wanted to write an article. Sure enough, it ended up being quite big. And thanks to Segathon finding it and posting it onto a Discord. So if we're going to get a little bit more notoriety, I'd rather us not be penalized by some comments or some things that are not shouldn't be said, and we don't want anybody feeling left out or excluded from our league. So going along the line here, I've updated the links. Bad news with Twitch. Apparently there was a breach. So everybody's things for Twitch has been updated, and there's been a few other people. G-Lock's got the Instagram post going. Segathon's got his website. I got our website. Halifax has got the King of 94 website. So everyone's kind of got their things. And I also got the YouTube channel as well, and everybody's Twitch accounts. I've also added the goalies. So if anybody's looking for your goalies of what's coming in for this season, what their ratings are throughout the year, here's basically the breakdown based on their overall, their weights, their ability, their speed, their agility, offense awareness, defense, puck control. These are all for the goalies. Whoever's highlighted in green are going to be goalies that are available. So if somebody doesn't become available or gets cut by somebody, we can update this. But I'm going to create a repository that basically has a database that contains every single season from 94 to 2022 that looks like this for every season. We'll have tabs along the bottom. I'll share it in the Google Sheets. I think I might have already sent that out as well. And the same thing with the forwards and D-men. So our playoff bracket's been slightly updated. I got to change the size here. But you can see now we got round 2 going. So we have King Raft and the Ducks against Highland Wolf and the Wolf of Highland. Interesting series is going to be. Their matchup, I think, head-to-head in regular season was 1-1. But both of them had some surprisingly tough matchups in the first round, even though King Raft kind of took care of G-Lock later in the round, later in their series. But it was a hard-fought first game in overtime. I saw the highlights. It was quite intense. The Wolf beat up the Philly competition with his colleague McLean, who we haven't heard from in a while, and I hope he's okay and that nothing bad's happened to the thing where he doesn't want to play in the league anymore. I do really hope that he just basically like everything regarding the structure for season 2 is going to be clarified. We're going to have top 8 each conference. No, the reseeding will only happen after the first round, but it's the top 8 in your conference. I'll get to what the conferences are going to look like later in this video. Then we have the Richfield Oracles and the Audubon. We got brothers, Blair and Brandon, playing each other. Both series were quite odd. The Oracles were pushed to 5 games by Sammy Smith, which I watched the stream, and it was quite intense. And some of the scores in here, 9-0 and 8-2, just bad games, because the rest of the other 3 games were pretty tight. And then LHX falling to Audubon. That was probably the tightest series in the whole playoffs as of right now. All the games were less than 3. All of them were 1 goal or 2 goals or less in the losses, except for 1 game shutout. And on the western side, we have Hines and the Cologne Hein and Mike Vick EBC with New York EBC. Basically, Mike Vick beat me in a sweep, and it was quite dominant. There were some things I was out of sorts, and Mike Vick just took advantage of every single opportunity and made me pay for it. And rightfully so, playing some golf and updating new ROMs. That's what I spend my off season doing. Then Hines took care of the Gaelic Gopher while he was live streaming from Vegas. It was a good series. Other than the 6-2 loss, I think that series was a lot closer than a lot of people would say, but it was a very good series. I think all the series were pretty tight except mine. I got blown out in it. Then we have the Minnesota Mullets in Halifax. That was another 5-game series, which I thought it would probably go to 4, but it went to 5, and that was another tight game. And I think Halifax is going to be a dangerous opponent in Season 2. He found Fedorov's legs and found out how to use them. And he's mentioned it a couple times in some of the posts. And then the last one is Teabaggers and the Sumter Trash. That was a little bit more of another one of those series where the games were tight and the losses were 5-4, 2-1, 3-2, and 3-0. It wasn't that... every series was very, very impactful. I think Burry might have been a little bit of underutilized from what everybody was saying. The Sumter Trash might need a heavy forward to be able to balance out Bure, and maybe needs a Nolan, who knows. But the series matchups for the next round, then you have Teabaggers against the Mullets. And then all these matchups are going to be intense. My projection is that King Raph will take this one in 4. I think the Oracles will take it in 5. I think in the Hines and Mike Vick one, that will go to 5, and I think Hines takes it in 5. And Teabaggers and the Mullets, I think Teabaggers takes it in 4. Not to discourage Segathon on it, but I think he will take it in 4 for the one reason that Bondra and Tebow, for some reason, will have a better balance than the R&R railroads of Reichel, Ranheim, and Rauning. And then the alternating and goaltending, I still don't understand why Segathon does that with Hebert and Rudy, but it might come up and bite him in the butt, and that's why I think he'll take it in 4. So then we move along. We got our playoff leaders. So this is all active for the playoffs. All the player updates have been done. All the stats have been updated. Same thing with the player stats and team stats. They've all been updated. And the next thing is the playoff series box scores. So if anybody wants to see what they look like, they'll be here. But also we're going to have an archive where you can go into the Google Sheets and find any of the old seasons that you can want to go look through. You can do that as well. Power polls. It's basically whatever your power poll rating is here will be your power poll rating to start the season. Afterwards, all the schedule has already been completed for season 2. And basically with that, you're going to be able to see your ratings change based on your performance. So Teabaggers, it's based on performance. You play well and don't get blown out, your rating goes up. You play, you get tight games, you'll still creep up or creep down. But it's when you get blown out in any games, you drop. So any of the forfeits this year are going to basically be blowouts, because that's the only way that things will be able to adjust accordingly. Or I will just leave it at 0-0 and force them, or delete their number here and just automatically put them at the bottom. So I don't want a team that forfeits the whole season, or excuse me, or forfeits a couple of games, and they're basically above a team that's played all their games. And yeah, there were some blowouts, and they were tight in all their other ones. I don't want them to feel like they're being penalized. Teabaggers, you finished the season ahead of Highland Wolf. I think that's all you wanted to see, which you did. The next one, this is what the standings are going to look like next season. So we're going to have the schedule here, so you can look for your games. You can quickly even do a Control F and then search for your team. You can go Anaheim, for an example, and it will populate all the games. And you can scroll through and you can see them highlighted here. So that's an easy way to find your games and who you have left. All the standings is automated. So there's no more like, oh, did the score go right? Here, we'll do an example. So we say King Raph beats Sammy Smith 5-4. See, the standings updated here for King Raph, 5-4, 1 goal, he lost, sorry, 5-4, and the 1 goal differential automated, and the same thing with Sammy Smith here. But let's just say that, what's a good one? See, let's say we're going to give some bad looks here for King Raph, but we're going to put Brantford with 2 wins, and we're going to say 3-3, and we're going to say 2-2. So we want to show you how the standings works. Look at this. Well, some reason it didn't want to populate, and I got to figure that out. Maybe my adjustment here didn't work. Maybe I have to adjust something there. My apologies, and I'll go back up, and let's just say we use it for the Sunnyvale Shithawks. We go like this, and we go like this and like this. Let's just say. So here, Dinkelberg had 1 loss. Charleston's still the same. The Shithawks, I have to figure something out because something's not working here for some reason. But let's just say Killorn. Let's find Killorn. Here, let's say they got 5-4. You can see how the standings adjust right away. And then we'll say the Oracles, they had 3 and 2. So another one there, and then the Oracles got their win. So you can see the scores get updated automatically. So once I clean that up, I got to make sure every team's scores get automated properly. I don't want any issues going forward with that because that'll screw up a lot of things. Then we got the new box scores. This will be hidden. You won't be seeing this, but basically I just wanted to show you guys. It'll take a while because you got to think every single game that we're going to be playing in Season 2 is going to be in here. It's already going to be pre-populated. All I'm basically doing is using the extractor that King Raph provided me. Copy, paste, automated. Everything gets pulled up. Even the score itself gets pulled into the standings from that standings part where I just showed you. And it's just going to be a lot easier. A new feature everyone's going to probably like, player cards. So, you want to find a player? Let's just go with, who would be a good example? We'll go Ed Belfour. Automatically shows up, Belfour. Select them, and we just wait for a second. And boom, Ed Belfour's picture there. Here's his ratings for the next couple seasons. You can see it drops down to 98 to an 81. So LHX might be reconsidering Belfour in a couple seasons. And we also got trends. So you can see how each season, how he progresses from season to season. So another player would be Mario Lemieux. There he goes, populated. Just wait a second, there's Lemieux. And then you can see here, he retires in 2000. But then he comes back, I think, for another year or 2. But you can see the players' ratings. This is all going to be populated automatically. So there's not going to be any waiting around. And you might see here his playoff stats are not showing anything. It's because the Oracles are still in the playoffs. Once the playoffs end for them, this will be populated. So say, for an example, Timu would be there. His playoff stats are already there. But you can see, you can look at your playoffs to your regular season. You can say, okay, he kind of tailed off with his special team points, which is understandable because he played 46-3. But this is just a fun way that you can be able to find it, and then all the player pictures are automatically pulled from Hockey Database and NHL Reference. So another player everybody wants to see is probably Gary Roberts. And we go like this, Gary Roberts. If you don't see a photo, it's because I haven't updated it yet, but here's Gary Roberts. He looks pretty much on trend with his points and shots on goal averages. Everything's pretty much in the line. So that's one other feature. We still have our forwards, defense, and goalies and free agents. We've moved our awards down. Records have been updated with playoffs. Archives. This is what you're going to be able to go in and click on box scores. It'll bring you to the Google Drive where all the box scores are. Same thing with the ROMs. So if you want to play last season's games or your last season's roster, you can do that for a future season. And then the last one you're going to see is recap. I'm creating a document that's going to show you basically like you get your football magazines every season, and you can basically use that document to basically look at a recap of the season. Kind of like our little magazine, I would say. And then manager IDs, this is where I was talking about where stuff gets populated based on the logos and everything on the player cards. And then I also have the player stats as well. Basically, I'll hide this because this is not important for you guys to need to see. But then it's also, we'll have a repository like this for raw player data, which basically pulls all that stuff. So all these statistics here get pulled into the player card. So you'd be able to still do, let's go Dominic Hasek, go like this, populates. I'm happy in a few years he goes up to a 95 and he just continues to accelerate, which is awesome. So hopefully my goaltending will take over as an MVP candidate, but who knows. And then we'll also have starting lineups. So teams that have lost players due to the expansion draft or due to players that have retired. So for an example, the Richfield Oracles have 2 players to replace. The same thing with the Cloran-Hine have 2 players to replace. So you just look at your chart here. Here's another one. The Halifax Schooners got to replace 2 guys. LaForest retired. Sorry, Halifax. And basically whoever you lost in the expansion. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a snapshot of what your roster looks like as of right now, without any trades, without any draft. And also the expansion teams rosters are up here at the top. So this gets updated so everybody will know who their starting lineup is. If anybody's looking on Twitch to know who the starting lineup is of the other teams, you can come here and easily see it. This will be updated before the season starts so that everybody knows to say, oh, this is who I want as my left wing, this is who I want as my right wing, which I should actually go left wing, center, right wing, left defense, right defense. And then these are just forwards, goalies, and defense. These are your backups. So this will get updated. But other than that, we're just waiting for this season to conclude, and we'll have the regular draft. They're going to clean up Discord a little bit so that everybody can kind of see some new things. Things will get a little bit cleaned up. You'll be a little bit more restricted in some of the channels so that you don't post a bunch of information where things get buried, and if somebody's asking a question, hey, where's the playoff ROM, or where's this, where's that, you won't have to go look too far. So I'm going to clean up all the Discord channels, so keep the ESPN breaking news. The Smack Talk Lounge will still stay there. The Xyz or exhibition games feed will stay there. The regular season feed will stay there. The season feed will disappear. That will just go into season material. I'm going to merge a few things just to kind of clean it up, and then we'll have our draft feed. So that one will go in there. I believe I'm going to start posting it shortly. It's just to help everybody to kind of get prepared for what the draft is, and then also the draft order will be posted on there as well. So concluding with that, I hope everyone's going to be keeping going positive for season 2. There's a lot of new things that are going to be coming. I really hope that everyone's having a good time with the league. But I just want everyone to know that, like, you know what, let's get the games in and let's finish up the season. I know a lot of people have other personal things to deal with, but at the end of the day, some guys are jonesing for hockey, and I got cold. That's maybe the reason why I lost in the playoffs. But no excuses. So basically all I'm going to say now, guys, is I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And this concludes this week's weekly video of WNHL 95 Weekly. Have a good day, and talk to you guys again soon.